listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Good morning. This is the Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Frank's not here this morning. Something about a confession, Hatton Garden robbery, I'm not quite sure. But we're going to keep the seat warm. I'm joined as ever by the luscious Alan Cockrell.
Excellent.
And Gareth Richards is in the house as well.
Hello. How come he gets that?
I don't know, I didn't know what to play.
Oh, really? You just...
And I just saw Russian national anthem.
This
reminds me of the Hunt for Red October.
Daisy, how do you make it stop? Oh,
there.
okay, it stopped.
It's gone.
Are you talking about me or the music?
A bit of both, really.
Early.
Yeah, that's Gareth Richards, spectacle wearer of the year. To be. You'd be a great spectacle wearer of the year.
Oh, thank you.
Insofar as that he wears spectacles.
No, I think he suits them. They look like they're part of him. Some people look like they were born in specs.
Well, they are. No, they are separate.
We should do the business.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can text us on 81215. You can... We say follow the show on Twitter, at Frank on the Radio. What we actually mean is you can tweet us, at Frank on the Radio, and you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
We've actually had some emails during the night. You know, I'd like to do my Friday night trawl. I don't like to make the show all about me, but we've had a...
that's where you and I part company.
We've had an email during the night, last night, 11:15. Why someone's thinking of me at 11:15, I've no idea, but it's entitled Alan Cochrane, Beard or No Beard. Hi, Emily, Gareth and Alun. So it's somebody that knew that it was us three today. Good,
okay.
Good attention to detail. Long-time podcast listener, first-time email. They then put some praise, which I'll delete. I have two random questions for Le Coq Sportif. One, does he currently have a beard? I think I do, currently. But
yes, I would verify that.
Oh, yeah, you're very beardy. It's almost Game of Thronesian.
I think it's a bit gingery, so it might not be that... you might not spot it. Two, was he walking the streets of Manchester on Thursday? I was working on the markets this week near
Okay,
Exchange
this is getting
Square.
a bit sleazy now.
Working on the markets near Exchange Square, and I was 99% sure that I saw Alan, even staring at him for at least 3 seconds. However, no beard. I hope I didn't miss my chance to meet the great man himself. That's me, I'm assuming.
Right.
Unless there was another great man nearby, like a statue or something.
Yeah.
Matt, living in Manchester from London, prisoner 896. Well, Matt.
Okay, thank you for your missive, Matt.
Yeah, welcome, Matt.
So this wasn't you, I'm assuming?
I don't think it can have been. I was in Manchester on Tuesday.
It's all right, you're not on trial here.
I know.
We haven't accused you of having an affair.
I'm just wondering if he's misremembered, and I did have a beard. So if it's me on Tuesday with a beard, then yeah, that was me. If it was somebody else without a beard on Thursday, that's somebody else. And just
If he got the day and facial hair status wrong, then it was definitely you.
Well, this is how the police say that.
Thanks for clearing that up, Gav.
People have got terrible memories, haven't they? That's why witnesses are so...
What if he's wearing a false beard?
Yeah, who, me?
Yeah.
No,
I'm talking about you right now.
I'm pretty sure it's it.
I have to discuss something
I'll try
with
and get it off during a song.
I can't wait. Grappling. So yesterday, Gareth had said to me, he said, I'm doing a gig in London. And I said, oh, that's great. Where are you playing? And he said, the Royal Albert Hall.
Oh.
Well, I laughed, which apparently wasn't the correct response.
That's not what the audience did.
Because he then said, no, I genuinely am playing the Royal Albert Hall. And he said there was a smaller sort of area by the Louvre or something.
There's a bar, the Elgar room.
Yeah,
there's a bar.
I've done that room.
You've done that gig.
I've done that gig, yeah.
You've done that gig. I mean, I have also played the main room.
Have you?
By the way, yes.
Have you, Al?
No.
I haven't either.
I think
I've sat in a box.
Me too.
I think me as well. I went to E17 when I was at school at the Royal Albert Hall.
Sorry, why were you sitting in a box for E17?
Well, my a school friend's dad worked for the Daily Express, and he got us tickets.
Stop
to
name dropping.
He got us tickets to see E17.
E17 played the Royal Albert Hall. That's the bit of this story that I'm most impressed by.
I can't imagine that.
It was quite a long time ago.
I just can't imagine them coming on stage at the Royal Albert Hall. I mean, extraordinary.
They had a support act who vomited on stage.
Are you sure that was support act? That was Brian Harvey. So I got this missive from Gareth last night, which was the longest explanation I've ever received in my life.
Right.
Well,
About
I
the
say
studio
explanation.
room.
No, what it was about. Have I got time to read it now, Daisy, or shall
Oh.
I? Okay. Oh, she's shaking her head in a really emphatic way.
Of course you don't.
It was, yeah, I like that. It was like the cafe owner saying, "No, we're closed now. No
It's
more."
good to tease the next link, though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and I need to also
Okay.
give some context, because I don't want to be misrepresented here.
As if I'd do that. The very idea. Okay, just so you know, so it starts, "Hey, Em, felt bad for putting you off. Full stop." Okay, we'll come back to that.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Where were we, boys?
I think you were about to expose me about an email that I sent you in confidence in our private lives.
Oh, my goodness, that sounds...
Well, guess what? I learnt from the best. So, Gareth sent me this email. "Hey, Em, when
Well,
met-"
can I set the scene?
Yeah.
Right, so earlier in the week we'd talked on the phone, and I'd said...
This
you
isn't
said-
the OJ trial.
You said, what gigs you got coming up? And I said,
Yeah.
oh, I'm in London on
Yeah.
Friday night. And you were like, oh, that sounds interesting. Where are you doing? And I said, the Albert Hall.
It made me sound like some Coronation Street barmaid. When have I ever said in my life, "Oh, that sounds interesting"?
Chats over the back fence.
Did I
That's
have
what
my
I
arms
heard.
folded
That's what-
underneath my bosom at the time?
Natch.
And
I'm allowed to say that. It's in a song.
No, Natch.
Okay.
you said, well, I said, oh yeah, I'm doing a gig at the Albert Hall, and she said, oh, and I said, not the main room.
Shall I just read the email?
Well, no,
Yeah.
because and then you
Why
said,
email?
you
Why
said,
email?
oh,
Why
who-
not text
who's
or
on is
WhatsApp? What's wrong with you people?
Gareth, can you just let me read it? "Hey, Em, felt bad for putting you off. When I mention a gig, I get paranoid that people think I'm hinting that they should come. So I was putting you off, not because I didn't want you to come, but because I didn't want you to think I wanted you to come. In case you came because you felt pressured rather than because you wanted to. But if you wanted to, that would be lovely. We could hang out. It would be nice. But fine if you don't.
Right.
It's late. I'll see you on Saturday."
And that was the first of 28, was it?
Yeah.
Just repeatedly explaining it.
I enjoy.
I think that is self-explanatory, and I think you'll agree I've elegantly handled that social situation.
I'm not sure about that last bit, but I do think it is self-explanatory. Over-explanatory, I might
didn't
say.
really understand by the end of the email what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
I mean, were you saying you wanted me to come or you didn't?
I'm saying I don't want to press you in any way, and you're free to come or you're free not to come, but I don't want
Yeah.
to be pushing you in it. And I also, what you kindly cut out is the last line that said, I'm extremely stressed at the moment, Em.
I know, but I
I'm
thought that
sorry,
mid you
I'm
sound
rambling.
unhinged,
Yes,
so that's
no,
why I
but
took that
that's,
out.
I think
Yeah.
that email only makes sense in the light of that.
Oh, really?
So, Al,
Yeah.
what, do you feel similarly at gigs then? Is this something that goes through every comic's mind? Is this an insight into you?
I don't have enough social conversations for people thinking I'm inviting them to my shows to be a hazard. I mean, literally.
Well, I clearly don't have a lot of experience in social situations, do I? Like, there's a one-off that
Gareth,
I've been
I wa-
handled badly.
I want to reassure you that my respect and love for you only grew as a result of that exchange.
Good.
How was the gig, though? That's what I want to know.
It was fine. It's a bit
Okay,
of a funny room, is it? Would you say it's a bit of a
It's an odd
sticky room
room.
sometimes?
I
And it
did a-
wasn't full.
Can
I
we
did a
not be
gig
two
last night
comics
and
in a
got-
pub talking about how was your gig?
Oh,
Okay.
I'm not sure we can do that.
I'll send you an email, Alan.
All right, yeah.
It's Mappers.
Absolute
Absolute
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Oh, I know what I need to tell you about. Well, there's quite a lot. So, firstly, I went to Buzz's
Get
birthday.
comfortable.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Frank's son Buzz.
Frank's son Buzz, who was 4. Was he
Oh.
4? I hope so. Well, that card's going to be embarrassing. Anyway, it was lovely. It was in a church hall, Natch. I should really leave this to Frank, because I'm sure he'll have a lot to say on the matter himself.
Yes.
But from my perspective, I mean, the thing I liked about it was that there were Eastern European ukulele players. Can't go wrong.
Okay.
Is that what they were called?
No, they were actually Eastern European ukulele players. And I spent some large percentage of the party outside, though, because I got a call from Adrian Childs. Well, someone handed me my mobile and said, you've got 6 missed calls from Adrian. And he was having some trouble locating the party. So then he did an extraordinary thing. He was on his bike. I called him back. He said, all right, I'm outside the house. What do I do? Where do I go? I don't know. I said, well, you shouldn't be outside the house. You should be here, because the venue is different. So he then said to me, well, I don't know where to go. Can you drop pin me on your WhatsApp?
Wow.
No. Now, I'm going to admit it. I'm over 40. So is he. I'm sorry. You should not be talking about drop pinning people on your WhatsApp at this age. I scrawl numbers on an eyeliner, on an old, back of an envelope.
Yeah, I like old school stuff, like left at the post office, and then it's by that pub.
Can you send out a posse for me to track me down?
Have you ever had anyone ask you to drop pin them on their WhatsApp?
Not on the WhatsApp, but I have had people ask to drop pin, and I just said, no, I can't do stuff like that.
I found it quite confusing. I managed to do it. He said, I'll talk you through it, which was slightly patronising.
Right.
So he did, and that was fine. And then I spent a large part of the day standing outside the church looking for Ray Mears lookalike on a bike.
Bicycle? Is it a bicycle or a motorised bike?
No, he's got a motorised bike.
He's got a midlife crisis. Motorbike.
Yeah. Wow. He's going to a party on a motorcycle.
Yes.
Wow.
We had a wonderful day, though. I turned up with loads of presents in a slightly Mohammed Al-Fayed at a child's party way. I was just weighed down with bags. I think Buzz did rather well out of me, I'm going to say.
Good.
Yeah, he got a pirate ship.
Cool.
Yeah, I think he's pleased with it. But Buzz had a bit of a nightmare because he had a same-dress nightmare. He turned up as Superman, and so did another boy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that will happen, I think.
He stole it out. He did quite well, I thought.
Was one of them evil Superman? Because there is, in Superman 2, there is an evil Superman as well, and they fight.
That's a good way of getting around that problem.
And, yeah.
Well, I was just a bit... I mean, he seemed fine about it. He didn't seem unhappy about it. But I just think it's a strong look, the Superman costume.
I've got one under these clothes. I'm always wearing one.
And I guess Adrian Childs looked a bit like sort of a Marvel X-Men villain, because was he wearing leathers?
He had a leather jacket on, yes.
You've got a motorbike is the one form of transport that tells people by your dress how you got there.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
So the switchboard has lit up.
Yeah.
People are very
Go on,
excited about what we've been talking about.
Oh, what have they said?
Board Game Haver says evil Superman was in Superman 3, not 2. Sheesh.
Okay.
Gareth at Superman 3.
I like that that's the
from
idea of
M.
people
Night.
are very excited about what we've said.
553 has texted, have to correct you there, guys. Actually, it was
Yes.
Gareth, not all of us. Have to correct you there, guys. Superman 3 has the nasty one. He goes bad after Richard Pryor gives him dodgy kryptonite.
I've had that.
I like the idea that
That was a terrible night,
Well,
that. 1997, I think
if you
it
go out
was.
with Richard Pryor, you will
Yeah.
get some dodgy kryptonite, man.
No longer with us, of
the
course.
implication being
Thanks,
that there's
Gareth.
R.I.P.
some really high caliber kryptonite knocking about. Just watch the dodgy stuff, yeah?
Yeah, you never know what it's...
Was he essentially a drug addict or something?
Who?
I mean, that
Superman?
seems to be the metaphor, doesn't it, this kryptonite thing? Was he strung out?
I don't know. I don't look for metaphor
He-
and stuff.
he
I'm just
couldn't-
watching it for explosions.
He couldn't
Okay.
go near it. I think it was more
Basic
of an allergy.
bloke.
Exactly.
It was more of a very bad allergy he had to kryptonite. He couldn't...
Oh, was it like gluten
like,
intolerance?
You like gluten?
Yes,
that's
very
a
similar to that.
Oh.
Imagine that.
Was he celiac or something?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh,
Imagine
poor
if you know
Superman.
someone
Should
who
do what I do.
doesn't have gluten and then they go, bread!
That sounds like a description of me. I do
That would be a terrible superhero film, wouldn't it? Someone-
Gluten-free man!
Oh, do you want to hear about the cup final?
Oh, I thought you were
Cup
still
final?
on the party.
Well, no one said yes, but I'm going to talk about it anyway.
Right,
I mean, you know the
World
result.
Cup final,
Oh, Alan,
Seems
can
Gareth
you...
doesn't know. The FA Cup final was last
Yeah.
week.
right?
It was Crystal Palace and Man United.
I'm learning.
So all the fans came from the same place, ha-ha. Oh, I love that laugh. That was like a laugh you give to a pensioner when they make a joke. But I went along. I had to go straight after Buzz's birthday, which was somewhat stressful.
Packed Saturday you had last week.
Oh, Oh, is it
Radio
ever?
show, brunch,
I know.
birthday party, football cup final.
Dinner with the Rosses in the evening afterwards.
No way.
Yes.
You are kidding.
I'm not.
That's more social engagements and professional engagements than I've had in a month, I think.
I like to keep my diary full
I am the opposite.
and my plate empty.
Again, opposite.
What I discovered at the cup final, I mean, I have experienced this before, but can I ask you a question? I don't want this to obviously descend into men, eh?
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, why, when the national anthem comes on, and it's hard to illustrate this, I appreciate this is not a visual medium, but bear with me, listeners. I'm sure you can understand what I'm trying to say here. When the national anthem comes on, men put their hands aloft in a sort of Olympic dive position and just hold their hands there for the entire time. That's the first thing that I find really strange. The second thing they do is they clap after the national anthem.
Right.
They go like, "Whoa,"
Yeah.
and then they rub their hands together like this,
Do they?
as if they're excited and gleeful for the action to start. Why do you do this?
I think that's more to do with the event than the national anthem, because I don't think people always do that, but I think that might be something that happens at football events.
Okay, Alan?
My take.
I don't know. I hadn't noticed they do that, but I do like it. I think it's quite
Yeah.
cute. You would call it cute, wouldn't you? That rubbing of the hands
No,
together.
I don't like the gleeful rubbing of the hands. It
I do it
feels
when
a bit
takeaways
creepy.
in the house.
Do
when,
you?
When takeaways in the house, I go, oh, here we go.
I think the reason I find it weird is when 80,000 people doing it, it's a very strange swishing sound.
Yeah.
They'll do it at the same
They
time.
all do it together.
Yeah. Wow.
Honestly.
Sounds creepy.
Go to a football match, you'll hear, God save the Queen.
Times 80,000.
Yes.
No, I didn't know that.
Okay. I did.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So yeah, when I was at the cup final, I was lucky enough to see one of the most embarrassing moments in television history.
Oh no.
The pre-show, the warm-up.
Yeah. I saw Tiny Temper come out, firstly, in a silver, what looked to be like a tin foil jacket.
So they had acts at the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
And then some, actually. They had
Really?
acts, they had so many acts that it overran and the football kicked off late.
Dancing girls. There
Dancing
were...
girls.
Don't sound so creepy. Box at the Royal Albert Hall for you.
I don't want to tell them how to do their jobs, but I think we've already said that the crowd is somewhere in the region of 80,000. I think it's 70-something, isn't it?
Of a
they
particular sort of demographic, I imagine.
Yeah,
I don't
and-
think that's an easy gig.
But then they booked someone tiny. Like,
What, Tiny Temper?
yeah, they booked someone, like, surely they should have gone, let's get someone massive to really fill up that space.
It just feels as well. He feels...
Like a giant man.
Yeah.
Yes,
like,
they could
get a big performer.
Well, you're suggesting
not
you,
someone
essentially.
tiny. No, I don't think I would have done it.
He had a tin foil...
I
let
was busy.
them know next
No,
year.
that's not a definite. That's not a
No.
hard no, by the way.
I mean, I
So-
suppose it was Wembley. I could have still got to the Comedy Store in Piccadilly. Yeah, it
He's
would have been a
not-
tight double up, though.
He's not ruling himself out,
No,
though.
he's not
No.
saying definite.
Speak
no.
to my people for next year, that's what I'm saying.
Can I just say,
Alan Cochrane,
I am
6
not.
foot
You
3.
can.
I'm not doing stand-up at the FA Cup final.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Tiny Temper... I mean, he's adorable, isn't he?
Yes.
But he had a silver tinfoil jacket, and it was very Super Bowl, the whole thing. And I feel that's wrong in a sense for football, because it's more, it should be pies and brass bands. And there was a brass band, and they also had, you know, every year they have someone singing God Save the Queen.
Yeah.
As I've just discussed.
Yeah.
But they picked a lady this year called Karen Harding. Seems very nice, but I have no idea who she is.
No, is
I
she
don't
supposed
either.
to be from the X Factor?
When you say supposed to be, that's quite rude, isn't it?
Well,
but I tell you what she was. I
What
thought
is
she
she?
came third. It turned out she reached boot camp.
Boot
What's that
camp.
mean?
Yeah, she was boot camp
So
on the
she
X
was
Factor.
on X Factor.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, because I watch X Factor and I don't recognise her.
No.
Wow.
There are a lot of people on X Factor. I didn't particularly recognise her, but she... I mean, you know, to be fair to her...
Maybe she was good with the boots. Because of football boots.
That's right.
Did she
not
put on her CV experience at boot camp,
Yeah.
and they got the wrong
They
idea
thought she could
Maybe.
clean them.
and thought she'd... Yeah. But she did something terrible, which is she missed her cue.
missed
Oh, no.
it, didn't she? It's literally the stuff of anxiety dreams, isn't it? Like, properly. I have dreams like that, where I hear in a different room of a building, like, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alan Cochrane, and I'm sat backstage chatting to somebody and eating a pork pie or something. She's lived an anxiety dream. And also, there's a big gig. Like, that is a big gig to have missed that queue.
Doesn't get bigger than this.
Oh, awful.
It is a lot of people. But then I don't know how... Do you say, oh, I loved you before the FA Cup final?
What do you
Like,
say
do
to
you-
them? Well, what she did, I was there and I saw her. She missed the entire first verse, so she just joined
The
in.
entire first verse.
She joined in with Happy and Glorious.
That's right.
They got so desperate they cut to Wayne Rooney.
Mm-hmm.
That's how desperate. But she just said Happy and Glorious, and then she sort of ran off afterwards.
So she didn't sing, and did she not know it was happening?
She knew it was happening. She knew she'd missed
She
it.
fiddled with her earpiece. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I've done, like, gigs with 100 people in, and some of them have been distracting. But if you do a gig with 80,000 people in and they all start singing the song you're meant to be singing, that might be considered off-putting, mightn't it? Like,
I think you're making excuses for her.
I'm being nice.
She missed her cue, and it ended in disaster, I'm afraid.
oh.
Is this online?
What,
Is
this
there
show?
a video of it?
Yes, you can watch it.
I'm going
I've
to
watched
watch it.
You didn't think that they might be filming the FA Cup finals?
Yeah, they had
national
cameras
anthem?
there, Gareth.
Oh, if somebody had had their phone there, we could have looked at this. No.
Well, I'm going to watch it, and I'll tell you what I think.
I love is this online. Yes, they recorded the FA Cup final.
No, but you know,
She looks awkward in it. I'll put
Okay.
it that way.
sounds awkward.
Yeah. You'll enjoy it.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner Show. Frank's not here this morning, and I miss my Big Daddy, but, you know, he'll be back.
I'm not sure about Big Daddy.
Yeah, I personally find that makes me feel a little queasy.
Does it?
I've had
Yeah,
a
definitely.
retch slightly.
I
Yeah.
call him Big Daddy. I always have.
Oh.
Well, I'm sorry. I'll think of a name for
Makes me think
you.
of a big southern gentleman wearing a white suit and a hat.
No, that's not very Frank. He's a small Birmingham gentleman.
Yeah.
He's not small.
No,
Anyway,
he's
you
not
can
a
text
tiny.
the show.
If you see, like, he's not.
Okay, you can text the show on 81215. You can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, and please do. And we were talking about Karen Harding.
Yes, I watched that video. That's difficult to watch.
What did you
She
think?
doesn't, but the thing is, she doesn't look awkward. Like, oh no, something's happening, and I'm not quite sure what. She looks absolutely in a world of her own.
She
and
looks really
oblivious.
Yes.
And there's in the shot I saw, there was a brass band in the same shot playing the national anthem,
And she still couldn't hear.
and she didn't seem to be able to hear. And
She had technical difficulties,
yeah, technical
apparently.
Yeah, that's what
difficulties.
she's
That
called
is
it.
a very passive-aggressive way of blaming someone else for the situation.
Okay. So to add to the cruelty, we thought we should do a text in on what have you missed or forgotten. That's our text in this morning on 81215. You can text us.
I once nearly missed a gig at the Edinburgh Festival because I went for curry with friends, and, like, you know, when you go in and you're like, oh, I'm in a bit of a rush, and
Yeah.
then the food arrives or doesn't arrive, and then you just completely forget.
It's almost like you wanted to get value for money, Al.
I ended up sprinting the street with naan bread hanging out of my mouth and a tummy full of curry.
See, I wouldn't do that.
Oh,
I
no.
would just leave the food.
Oh, no. God,
I probably wouldn't go to the gig, to be
God, no.
honest.
No, I went and did
He
the
would
gig.
never have started a career in stand-up, probably.
But to be fair,
Or just
My,
life took a different path.
Have you ever forgotten your lines? I once dried when I was playing bottom in Midsummer Night's Dream
Oh,
at
right.
school.
Okay,
Yeah.
I do hit
I
a dried
don't know that.
bottom. That
I
is
don't
one
know
of my
that
rules.
game.
Oh, you had to, didn't you?
I use those wet wipes.
I did,
but-
and I don't know what happened. I forgot my lines, and I really reckoned myself. I thought I was really funny. And I think it was because I was really upset that I didn't get to Tanya, because I wasn't one of, I wasn't blonde and I wasn't sort of that type. So I thought, well, I'm just going to go funny. This is the only way. And then I got the part of
Is that
bottom.
the guy who has a donkey head?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't
You
a guy,
thought,
though.
You thought you'd
Thank
play
you.
that for laughs.
It was a
Well,
good
I thought
idea,
I could
actually,
maybe
looking
bring
back on it.
something to the part.
Yeah.
And then, and I did a northern accent for some reason.
Well, that's what people do in the south of England when they're playing
Yes.
comedy characters.
I thought it would
They're
make
playing
it.
a donkey.
I thought it would make it inherently more funny.
Yeah, and you were right.
Was I?
I would
okay.
say so.
Except when I forgot my lines. And then
That's
there's a
what
bit
Alan's
in
doing. He's from Surrey, everyone. I'm
Yes.
sorry to...
Can you imagine if Alan was really posh?
Paying the bills though, Anna, with this funny northern thicko character I'm
working.
doing.
Your shtick. Anyway, I just decided, because I'd forgotten my lines, I thought, right, there's a bit where he falls over and dies, and I just did it early.
Wow.
And it was
is
fine.
great.
And I just lay there, and no one really noticed. I
No,
think my colleagues were a bit
people don't.
upset with me, but there you go.
And everybody loved your bottom.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Gareth.
once... it feels like an old joke, but I can't remember hearing it before.
Because it
I'm
is
sure
an
it
old
has
joke.
been
You
done,
once what,
yeah.
darling?
When I take Elijah to preschool, well, not anymore actually, but he used to have to be pushed
That's
on
Gareth's son, FYI.
Yes, he, not the prophet from the Old Testament.
No.
Good to clarify.
Is that what he's going to have to say for the rest of his life? That's what you've doomed him to, a lifetime of saying, Elijah, not as in the prophet from the Old Testament.
Ledge.
Yes.
I'd push him on a tricycle, and one day I went to get the tricycle to put in the car, and it wasn't in my house. And I thought, oh no, where's that? And I had left it on the road. When I transfer Elijah from the tricycle to the car, I'd completely forgotten the tricycle. But when I got back to the place, it was still there the next day.
Oh my
No one had
word.
stolen the tricycle.
Do you know, that could be a film, and that could be the denouement.
And Elijah
And it could
was
be
still-
called No One Had Stolen the Tricycle, in which a tricycle doesn't get stolen. Can you get,
It's a bit
can
of
you
a
get onto
spoiler calling
Fox
it
Studios now?
And,
Yeah.
Elijah was still sat on it. That's the big thing.
Now this script is going all over the place. There's
a strap
subplots.
that, straps
Can
on
we just workshop this during this song? 1 minute.
Absolute
Absolute
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
You asked if people had missed things, Emily.
Oh,
D,
yes,
in a
I
sort
did.
of mooting a text in.
Yes.
And 272 has texted, Mark, almost missed the
Hi,
birth
Mark.
of my son due to technical difficulties.
Oh, was that on the mother's part?
No, in making connecting flights back from Asia.
Oh, a likely story. What was he doing over there? That's what I want to know.
That's, well, you might
That's a
well
horrible
text
thing,
us
Sam,
and-
casting aspersions on
Exactly,
what was
yeah.
a beautiful moment in your life.
You can't just say that everyone's been to Asia is up to something dodgy.
No, it's too big. 035 has texted, I forgot my passport, got to the airport and suddenly realised epic fail from Danny.
Yeah.
Actually, the only flight that I've nearly missed
Yeah.
was a weird thing where me and another comic had been doing some gigs in Asia.
Oh, yes.
And
Aye,
the way the promoters did it, they dropped us back at Hong Kong airport about 11 hours before our flight.
Oh, so you had time to kill.
Yeah, it was one of those like, oh, you got to check out the hotel, but we'll take you to Hong Kong airport, and it's really cool. Like, you'll have a fun time in there. We had
Oh,
a
and
bit
you bought that Hong Kong airport. It's really cool.
We had a bit too fun a time and nearly missed the flight. Like,
Legend.
Wow.
when you've got 11 hours to kill, the last half an hour is not big in your horizon. You don't worry about it. Like, so we were in massage chairs about half a mile away from.
Oh, please
You know those
be
electric
careful.
ones that you put coins in?
I'm just relieved that the word chairs followed.
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe it, but I'm glad he said it.
We got the proper.
What? Are you one of those people then? I've always wondered who has the pre-flight massage.
Hey, if you're in an airport for 11 hours, you're one of those people. Like,
I mean, what about the people that have massage in shopping centres? Have you seen them?
I'd be up for that.
It's so public. I mean, I know I get my eyebrows threaded publicly, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Eyebrows, I
When you
said.
say publicly, it's not like a hanging. It's not like in front of a...
That's part of her sentence.
Bring up the next woman!
I'm not marched through Westfield, Stratford.
Like Game of Thrones.
Yes, exactly. Sorry, Al. What were you saying? Oh, no, we were talking about your missing the flight. Well,
And did you make the flight?
Did you make the flight?
Yeah, they put us
Oh,
on a
did
golf buggy and drove us to the
there
other
was a
side of the
happy
airport.
ending then.
Properly.
Do you
and-
know, that's always been my desire. I've always wanted to be on a golf buggy. I've seen Joan Collins on one once
Oh.
in the airport. It was amazing.
I go everywhere by golf buggy when I'm not here. You guys
I just
not know
think
that
it's a
about me?
good. I think it's a very good look, isn't it? It's very VIP.
It's quite POTUS as well. President of the United States.
It's so POTUS.
Often in the golf buggy, isn't he?
It's quite First Lady as well.
Elizabeth Pope.
Yeah.
He has a buggy.
Yeah.
Oh, what
Turns
about?
out they've
Status
all got-
symbol, a buggy. If you have a much smaller car than everyone else, it just says I'm powerful.
Actually, if you've got a golf buggy, text us. We'd like to know what's going on with that.
Oh no, don't! Donald Trump's going to be texting and all sorts.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
There's big news in the literary world.
Oh, yeah.
Simon Cowell has been switched on to children's literature.
We call him Simone on this
Do you,
show.
Simone
Or
Cowell?
Psycho. I like to call him Psycho.
Oh yeah,
Psycho.
that's his production company.
I call him Simon Cowell.
Okay.
He's got
We're all different.
He's got a son called Eric,
That's
Yes.
right.
who's 2.
Who I like, because he's one of those babies that's a bit 42-year-old property developer in a baby grow.
Yes.
You know those children
Yes,
that don't
I know
ever look like
exactly what you mean.
children?
I know exactly what
And I
you
like
mean.
him for that.
Another one of those is Donald Trump's son, isn't it? Like, There's
Yes.
a few of those knocking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really, I'm really not as switched on to the world of celebrity babies as you guys.
Oh.
Oh, I am.
I've got an app.
Bruce Forsyth's son.
Celebrity baby app.
Wow.
Bruce Forsyth's son in a tuxedo baby grow 15 years ago, and hello. One of my best moments ever.
I would love that.
Yes. Anyway,
Where is he now?
Yeah, good question.
CJ. Oh, what's his name? CJ? I can't remember anyway.
I don't know.
Anyway, as you were.
But he's been reading his child books, and he reckons that all the children's books he's read so far are boring.
Yeah.
That they're very boring, and he's going to write a children's book. He reckons he could do a better job.
Yes.
The man who looked at the music industry and said, "Oh, this is boring," and brought us Robson and Jerome.
Yes.
He's going to turn those talents to the world of children's books.
Do you know, can I just say, before we actually get into the good or bad...
You say
of-
get into, can we say lay into him?
Yeah, before we lay into him, I've got a real bugbear with celebrities that do this. Like,
Do
oh
you?
yeah,
Yeah,
I've been reading to my children, and so I've decided to knock out a load of children's books. I've got 2 children. They have not created any creative ideas in my head in almost 9 years. I find it really annoying that, like, yeah, I've been reading kids' books.
Can I just
and
say
it's
an
inspired
obvious
me.
exception to this is friend of the show and dear friend David Baddiel, who has written a very fine children's book.
2, in fact. I've read them
Yes.
with my son.
Oh, did you like those?
Yes, I really
and it's his
enjoyed
birthday
them.
today as well. Happy birthday.
I really enjoyed them, but what I mean is people like Simon Cowell being
Yeah.
inspired. You think, you're busy enough, just read the kids' book and then...
No, but he's copying David Williams because David Williams
it
has
might be
done
a
well
bit of
out of
that.
it. Come on.
I think it might be a bit of that.
What I didn't
think
like-
they think children's books are easier to write than adults' books.
Well, they are.
No.
Yeah,
But he
that's absolutely
said-
true. There's definitely
And they're
a
easier
truth
to
in it.
read.
Yeah, and also I disagree with his expectations. Like, I think most kids' books are boring. Well, you're reading books to a 2-year-old. They're
Yeah,
made of hard wood. They're not...
Yeah, you might not have got
Unless
to the
it's
good
got
stuff.
folding paper pages, I don't think you should have high literary expectations.
I liked one of his quotes when he said, look, I've read a lot of these children's books. These children's books. Like he was talking about hooligans or something. Very scathing.
Look, I know this one's not his dinosaur, and the next one, no, that's not his dinosaur. His horns are too furry. Oh, I wonder what's going to happen next. Oh no, this one's not his dinosaur either. His eyes are too goggly. Oh, what a surprise at the end. This one is his dinosaur. So boring.
It is a shame.
What's he going to call it, though?
Oh, Psycho.
Actually, you can text any of you can think of any good names for the Simon Cowell book. That would be a good one, wouldn't it?
Also, there's absolutely
He says it's going to be
no-
about animals, Al.
Oh, bore off.
But I bore off.
You can't invent swear words.
I bore off.
Simon
Alan,
Cowell.
you're
they're always
so adorable. That's the most.
Animals, isn't it, with kids? Oh,
I
let's
don't
make
know,
it an
I-
animal.
I still can't get over bore off. It's so it's so nana. I love you.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
We were talking about Simone Cowell and the fact that he's decided he wants to write children's books.
Because he's read a few and he thinks he could do better. That's, I mean, it's
He says they're boring.
this is the monumental ego that thinks, hang on, I'm reading my... I think it's great, by the way. Can I just say that I think it's great that he's reading his son children's books.
I don't.
Is it?
No,
I don't think he should be allowed anywhere near that child.
No, I think...
You know
I'm
what?
joking
I
for
think
comic
Eric.
effect.
I think Eric can take care of himself.
I think dads should read to their children. I think it's fantastic that
Yes.
he's doing that. However,
Yes.
the monstrous ego that reads a children's book and thinks these are all boring, rather than, I've picked up the wrong one, maybe I should go and get a better one, is mind-blowing to me.
Yes,
There's
I like the
absolutely
idea that
no
he's
self-blame there.
No, and inspired by negativity,
Yeah.
which I like.
I think he's also going to start being an architect because he's been playing Lego with him, and he's thought, well,
Has he?
obviously, I'm good
I
at
can do
Lego,
better than that,
therefore
yeah.
why don't I build a building? I'm the same. I took my wife out on a date early on, and I thought, well, maybe I should run a restaurant.
People do, but it's funny that if you write, people do think they can do that, don't they?
Yes, I don't think it's easy to write children's books.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult.
Have you tried it?
Yes.
have
Have you?
Have you?
Have you
I
really?
think I probably have at some point.
Oh,
Tried a lot of things.
Wow.
well, let's not go into
I've got
that.
an idea about...
I don't wanna know about the
I've got
swing.
an idea for a children's book
What's the idea? Share it with
about
us.
a bear in a library.
What happens?
There's a bear in the library.
Well, hang on,
right?
I've already worked out a problem with this. How's he
Right.
got access to the library? Okay,
He's forged a card. Fake
Okay.
address.
So what happens?
People keep getting eaten by the bear who talk in the library. Obnoxious people come into the library, like a talking teenager, and she gets eaten by the bear. And then someone else who's being grumpy gets eaten by the bear.
Excellent.
And then a little boy comes up to the bear.
Gets eaten by the bear?
No, and then shows the bear all the books about bears, like Winnie the Pooh and Paddington. And the bear realises he likes the library after all.
Oh, because it's all about him.
Yeah.
I
Do you
don't.
understand that?
Is the bear essentially a Simon Cowell figure?
Yeah.
What do you think of the book, Al?
I feel worried that somebody could steal it now that Gareth's broadcast it before he's gone to print.
Well, we can just rip that and sell it as an audiobook.
Yeah.
Can we just do that?
Yeah.
That's the gist of it.
Done and done.
I love that. Oh, well done, Gareth. I'm keeping my idea all to myself of the very hungry fashion editor. That's not going anywhere.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I've had some feedback about my book pitch for The Bear in the Library.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah, The Bear in the Library by Gareth Richards.
This is the
I
title.
imagine
that
some offers have come in, haven't they, from literary publicists?
Well, in fairness, Frank got a part in Doctor Who as a direct result of pitching himself for the role on this show. So,
all he did was go on and on and on about wanting to be on Doctor Who.
yes.
On television and radio, yeah.
So the bear, what's
Amazing.
it called? The Bear in the Woods? No.
The Bear in the Library.
Oh, The Bear in the Library.
Yeah. The Bear in the Woods is another story.
Yes, no, I know.
That's a
The
question
bear?
we've been trying to solve for a long time.
Doing in the woods.
The Bear in the Library.
So Monica on Twitter.
Hi, Monica.
At identity number 2. She said, I like The Bear in the Library. Good approach. Needs work. What's he doing there if he doesn't like it in the first place?
Yeah.
Do you know, she's got a really good point. Have you thought this through?
Yes, I have. Like, there's got to be something out of the ordinary. You don't have to worry about why the bear is in the library. He's just in the library.
But we do worry, Gareth.
Maybe he's bookish.
wandered into the library. No, he's not bookish.
Oh, is that part of the problem?
That's the
She's
point.
got a point, though. Why would he keep repeatedly going back if he hated it? It's not like he lives there.
People do that, though, don't they? People have...
He doesn't keep going
Patterns
there.
of behaviour.
He sort of ends up there, and he's sort of living there.
Well,
Is it no one knows
in my
why?
mind, that's keep going there. If you end up living there, you'll sort of you're keeping going
no,
there.
he's not keeping going there. He's just there all the time.
Yes.
Right.
He's got a
Therefore,
food
he keeps
source.
going there.
He doesn't keep going there. He's gone there once and remained.
This book doesn't even exist, and it's the worst argument we've ever had. It's The Bear in the Library.
And she also says, also, is man mauling still popular in times when whistles are banned from school playgrounds for being too scary?
That's a good point.
You
Although
need-
some children's books are very scary.
Yeah, you need Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were just discussing Not Now, Bernard, a book where the child is repeatedly ignored by the parents
Yeah.
because there's a monster going to eat him, which then happens. Yeah. Spoiler alert.
You ruined Not Now, Bernard.
Oh, 231
I thought it
has
was
texted
about
you.
an elderly couple.
Simon Cowell was
and the woman
listening.
had gone off her husband.
231 has texted with a very useful suggestion for you, Gareth.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I don't need any more people suggest. No, what was
Maybe
it?
the bear is hiding from Goldilocks. There you go, problem solved.
I don't understand.
She's gonna.
That's why it's in the library. It's hiding from Goldilocks.
Well, you can't mix mediums like that. That's when Hollyoaks' character goes on Coronation Street.
Like Batman versus Superman or
That's
something.
two separate stories.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I've got a little word of warning for Simon Cowell. This is something that I hadn't encountered.
Yeah.
My wife told me the other day that my son, who is now approaching 9 years old and can read and loves reading, and obviously, like, as a parent, we turn off, like, gory news and we turn off things that might be troubling. And she said, he read the back of your book the other day. I'm reading a pacey thriller. But
Yes,
this
of course you are.
I'm holding up, it's called I Am Pilgrim, and I had completely forgotten that my son might be able to read the back of my book. She said, he's read the back of the book and he says it sounds really good. He wants to read it. The first line on the back of the book is...
What does it say?
A young woman murdered in a rundown Manhattan hotel. The second line, a father publicly beheaded in the blistering sun of Saudi Arabia. A man's eyes stolen from his living body. It just gets worse and worse.
Absolute Radio.
It is quite a gory back of book. I mean, it's a great thriller, but I don't think it's pitched at 9-year-olds.
No, but
So
nor
just
is a
watch out for
bear
that,
going on a
listeners.
murderous rampage
True enough.
in a library.
True enough. So be careful. That's my little word of warning.
You like an airport novel, Al, don't you?
Is that what you're suggesting I read?
I'm just saying.
Airport novels.
Page turners.
He likes
I
a
love
page turner.
Oh, I love a page
You like
turner.
a sword on the front of a book.
Actually, we've had some texts that I think illustrate the readership's differences between you and I.
Oh.
So
Sorry, we just have silence while I do this?
yes, indeed.
Okay.
We'll start with me. To the cockerel, are you ever going to return to Murfield, or are you too posh now, mixing with them lot? It's still there, you know, fella. Murfield is a small town in West Yorkshire,
Okay.
where my mother still lives, and I return to Murfield all the time.
Is she the only Scot in the village?
Possibly.
Yes.
So 177, yes, and I already do. And we've also had Chris in Walsall who has texted you.
Thank you, Chris in Walsall.
Emily, come to our dealership in Walsall when you next change
Steady.
the Benz. Hang on. Come
You
to
lost
our
me at
dealership. Come to our dealership in Walsall when you next change the Benz, so he knows that you like a Merc.
Oh!
We have a golf buggy to take customers around the pitch. That's from Chris in Walsall.
Oh, my word. I'm going there.
That would be great.
Is the picture word for, like, the place where the
Yes.
cars are?
What does he mean, the
Is that what it's
pitch?
called? Or is it a tent?
I guess.
I mean, are you a
do they
football
live-
manager,
do they-
or do you own a car dealership? Or is it both, maybe?
Maybe it's called the pitch. Is
Can
it a
you
market
imagine?
stall?
Can you imagine me on that golf buggy? Oh, I'm so excited. He doesn't mean I have to swap my Benz for a Golf, I hope.
I don't think so.
Okay, good. I'm relieved to hear it. Yes?
What,
Hello?
yes.
You're going to go?
Hello?
Can you speak?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to go on to adverts now, unless
Good,
you've got
that's a
something
good
to
plan. No, I have nothing.
say. Okay. Alan, do you have anything?
Yes, we've had a suggestion for why the bear is in the library. He could smell the librarian's sandwiches.
Oh, that's a lovely
Yeah,
part
no,
of the
that's a good
story.
idea that he would
It's still
put
really
into
troubling
the-
me, though, the bear in the library.
Bears can go wherever they want. They're bears.
Okay.
That's a good
Does he
point.
wear clothes, or
No, he's a bear.
what about a loincloth? He's got to protect the
Like, I'll
extremities.
talk to the illustrator about being discreet when it comes to the
I
extremities.
like that. I like that's your version of talk to the hand. Talk to the illustrator.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
I'm Emily Dean. I'm joined by the wonderful Cockrell and the fabulous Gareth Richards, Spectacle
Hello.
Wearer of the Year.
Thank you.
You can text the show on 81215. We're doing a couple of texting this morning. Really? We're doing... we were thinking of ideas for Simon Cowell's book, maybe.
Yes, or amendments to my own
The wrong
plan.
The
trousers.
bear in the library.
The wrong trousers has gone though.
The wrong trousers.
That's
Sadly.
true.
That'd be a good one.
The long trousers.
There was a kids' book called What Do People Do All Day?
That's
Do you remember
fun.
that? Yeah, but that could be for all the previous X Factor contestants, because I often wonder that.
Put for actors there.
Yeah. You can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. And we have Gareth in this morning. How have you been, Gareth?
I'm good.
Did you like that Des O'Connor chat show
Yes,
intro?
very good. This week I had a moral conundrum
Oh,
that
lovely.
I wanted to ask you about. I look after Elijah, my son, not the Old Testament prophet, my son, and his favourite place to go and eat is, I won't say the name of the supermarket, but it's a supermarket cafe.
Oh, you had me at supermarket.
Is it an orange logo, a yellow
Yes.
logo, or blue and white stripes?
Orange logo.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Orange logo. We often go shopping afterwards, so I'll take him there and get some chips. He loves chips.
Can you get chips in the supermarket cafe?
Yes.
Do they do hot
Nice.
food?
Yeah, hot food. It's a hot
Hot
food
cuisine.
place.
I've never been to one.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I
Lived.
suspected such.
no. Can I just say, in my defence, absolutely nothing. No, can I just say in my defence, I'm phobic about eating and retailing. I think the two activities are distinct and should not be mixed. I just think eating is about sitting down. It's a very pleasurable, sort of nice, organic experience with you're with friends. You're feasting in a sort of nice Game of Thrones way. And then you're sitting there and you hear, Chris, have you got the lemons? I don't like that.
Right.
Anyway.
And often a problem with a department store is, I think they put the toilets, you have to go through the cafe to get to the toilets.
True.
And it
Oh,
basically
yes.
becomes a fart cafe. Which is not a nice thing.
And
I
there's
don't
people
think.
in fleeces with gloves and price guns. It's, you
Yeah,
know.
all
A
of
lot
that.
Anyway, you were
so
there.
They've got a quirky service style. The staff are mainly obsessed with the sauces.
Oh.
When your food comes, you get a sort of a little sort of cardboard tower with a number on for your table when you order.
Oh, yeah. Cardboard, not wood.
It's plastic, actually. To
Okay.
be honest, to be absolutely honest,
Broken
If
Britain.
you're going to push me, it's plastic.
Okay.
And then when they bring your food, they also bring you a little porcelain rectangular pot with sauces in, sauce sachets.
Oh, yeah.
You know about sauce
I do.
sachets?
It's one of Alan's favourite words, sachet.
Sachet is one of my
Yeah.
favourite words.
Describes
yeah,
the way you walk.
Thank you.
So what do you have? Mayonnaise, ketchup,
Yes.
Brown sauce?
maybe a mustard.
Thousand Island dressing.
or steady on?
No.
No.
You disgrace
We're not at the Crab Shack.
But the thing is, right, they have the staff who have been charitably employed by the supermarket.
Oh, okay.
And
I see.
and they are obsessed with getting the sauces back off you
Oh, are
before
they?
you have finished your food, which
So-
I think is an absolute deal breaker. I mean, I'm not looking for
Okay.
an incredible level of service from the supermarket cafe, but let me
Leave you to
finish
your
eating.
sauce.
I was going to
before-
say, Gareth, I don't know if it's featured on TripAdvisor, so you can complain about
There's a
it.
little old lady who is obsessed with the sauces. Have you finished with the sauces? She won't leave me alone.
Is that what she
We haven't
says?
finished our food.
Sorry, does the old lady work
Just buy
there?
more sauces. Buy
Yeah,
more
why
of the
haven't-
little.
Why haven't they got more
porcelain
sauce
rectangle-
caddies, let's call
Yeah,
them,
just buy
from now on?
Sainsbury's, for goodness sake. Oh, sorry.
Oh my God, you've named
I mean,
and
if there
shamed
was a
them.
shortage of sauce, they could go in the supermarket and get a big bottle.
Well,
Alan,
this
you're
is,
so right.
Alan, this is. I mean, we're going to have.
I don't like
we're
the way
gonna
he's
have a
pointing
song
at me.
now,
It's aggressive, isn't
but
it?
this is
I
leading
don't-
me on to what I'm going to talk about next.
Oh.
I like the way that
my
Gareth
goodness.
is so excited, like
He's
you're
taking
some
a Churchillian sort of pointing.
double helix discovery. Blimey.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Gareth,
Yes.
let's rejoin you
Yeah.
in the supermarket cafe.
So Alan posed a question just then. If we're in a supermarket, they're limited on sauces, but there's sauces for sale in the very place where
That's true.
it is now.
Exactly.
This is the thing, right? The menu, I find it quite limited. Elijah likes chips.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine. You can get a side order of chips. That's fine. But like everything else is quite.
Do you give them the chips then?
I'm trying to. Yes, I
All
give
right,
them
Kerry
chips.
Katona.
As a treat, as
Yeah.
a one-off treat during the week.
Yes.
It's fine.
But everything else, I'm trying to
It's
eat.
cheat day, isn't it? It's his cheat day.
Yeah, it's his cheat day.
Thin end of the wedge. One-off treat during the week.
I'm trying to eat healthily at the moment.
Right.
I don't want to think anything too carby or anything like that.
Yeah.
And they don't have
Kim Kardashian.
a salad, like a salad with some meat.
They don't have that.
They don't have that.
Oh.
So
But-
what?
So what
I
do you
did-
do?
I think I know where he's going
Yeah.
with this. I think
I went.
my guess is the deli counter.
I went to the hot food
Yeah. He's
deli counter
Okay.
where you can buy 8 barbecue chicken wings.
Why are you saying this in the tone of I kissed a girl and I liked it?
Why not?
Because I think I might be breaking laws.
So tell me what happened. You approached them.
No, before I go to the cafe, before I've even been in there, I go into the supermarket with Elijah. I go, Elijah, we're not going straight into the supermarket. Daddy just needs to do something.
Yeah, but what if he's going to sing like a canary?
No,
yeah.
he's not complicit. I don't act like I'm playing it real cool.
Real cool. So he gets
Do you
his
say to Elijah, take it nice and easy, real slow,
just act normal.
just that normal?
Act like Daddy's doing nothing wrong.
So you buy yourself
I buy
8
myself
chicken
some
wings.
8 chicken wings.
And do you pay at the deli counter? Do you pay the person, or does
No,
it go in a
I
packet?
go to self-service.
Whoa! So, hang on. Are you not paying for these things?
Oh, no,
Let's go to
it's fine.
self-service.
Okay.
You get a salad as well,
I pay
or-
for it.
Sorry, what's
no,
that?
I don't get a salad.
Right.
Oh.
When then we go to the cafe, I get 2 cups of tea because the queue's often long for drinks.
What?
So I get 2 pots
they
of
get
tea for
cold.
myself.
Right.
No, it stays warm. It's fine, and I
Wowie.
get through it. But it can be
a
difficult,
lot of tea.
and with a with a child as well. You know,
Who buys 2 cups of tea? Is it in a styrofoam cup?
No, pots. 2 pots of tea for
2
one.
pots.
This guy loves
Pots of
tea.
So is Elijah the child having to carry the pots of tea?
No.
It's burning,
There's rules
Daddy.
about that.
He likes bumping into people. That's his fun game in the queue. That's not
Well, yeah, that's because you've
appropriate.
turned him into Lookout, essentially.
So I buy tea, I buy Elijah a smoothie, and some chips and an apple
Uh-huh.
while we wait for the chips.
It's almost like you're trying to keep
Right.
him sweet.
Maybe
Having an
a
apple
yogurt
starter.
tube,
Right, yeah.
a tube of yogurt, and I buy myself a side salad.
Right.
Then what happens?
Oh yeah, I'm just having a
Then I'll
side
tell you
salad,
what
everyone.
happens.
Don't worry about what Gareth's eating.
I'll tell you what happens. He goes back and at the table he eats the side salad and 8 chicken wings, contraband chicken,
Yes.
in the
I
restaurant.
slip the little waxed paper bag of chicken wings I have,
So-
and I did them 4 at a time onto the plate.
Do you do it very surreptitiously?
even
I did it
Notices.
really surreptitiously,
Oh, I
like
love
I
a bit
was
of
doing
surreptitious
something really
eating.
undercover. And that's that's why I feel so bad about it, because I do feel really bad about it, and I felt like I would, I don't want to ask permission because then they could say no.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'm trying not to draw to put anyone in that situation.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question, Gareth.
Yeah.
Right, at the end of said meal, are you keeping the bones and taking them out and putting them in a different bin, or are you leaving them on the plate?
I put the bones back into the
Chicken
paper,
bag.
into the chicken bag.
You do not.
I did, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's the perfect crime.
I think it's brilliant.
I say perfect.
Crime,
it's
though.
rather low rent as crimes go.
What do we feel about that though? Because the supermarket is selling hot chicken wings just far away from the place where you want to eat.
You're
it.
a
I'll tell you
man.
what I feel about it. I
Yeah.
feel exhilarated. I think it's more exciting than the book that I just read to the back of. That's what I think.
Steady on, Al.
Honestly. Thriller.
I'm really impressed by Gareth, Al.
He's got it all going on, hasn't he?
I didn't realise
Up
that
there.
you've got this kind of underworld vibe going on. And I've always wanted to be a gangster's mole. So let's talk.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
We were discussing Gareth's...
So I breathed in really horribly then. I went,
Yeah, I wondered what that was, but
Sorry.
I just
oh,
ignored it.
Al, before we continue, can I just say something terrible has happened in the studio?
Oh, yeah, what?
Well,
My chair
Gareth
issues.
just found some
Yeah.
terrible issues with his chair.
Oh, yeah.
So there was a screw coming right up the bottom of it,
And that- we're not
into
talking
the
about a-
cushioned area.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's not
right.
saying that in a prisoner
In
sense.
your gluteus maximus.
Yeah.
There was an
cushioned
actual
area.
nail sticking out of it, Absolute Radio, if you're listening.
Yes, but that wasn't the only nail.
Yeah.
So I got off it to have a look, and towards the back of it, there was an actual fingernail, kind of
Sweeney Todd.
woven into the thread of it.
Fingernail or thumb? Because thumb would be quite sore, but you could just...
Anyway, can we just say, if you're listening,
Just wear a thick denim.
Absolute Radio heads, the new carpet can't come soon enough.
People often ask why I wear a boiler suit for this show, but I think it's just better to be safe than sorry.
I see that now.
Yeah.
We were talking about your somewhat eccentric food behaviour in the cafe,
How do you
Gareth. I think it's eccentric. I mean, I like the problem-solving nature of it.
Oh, it is.
But we need to talk about Faye Dunaway, 75, as the newspapers call her. Faye Dunaway, 75, has been in the papers because she went to a star-studded gala, as the newspapers call it, and she took some scales and weighed her dinner.
Yeah.
Wow. And I don't mean when her dinner arrived she went, "Way!" I mean, she weighed her dinner. She put it on some scales.
Can I say, as a direct result of that, she is now friend of the show. I'm not going to lie. I think this is awesome behaviour.
How does she get the scales into the venue?
She puts them in a paper bag.
I don't know why it's paper.
Well,
is it the same sort of waxed paper? Has she got chicken wings in there as well?
I think she may have.
Oh, I like that she's now your spirit animal.
Yeah.
I think maybe what she's doing is she takes the scales out, and then if there are any children at the table, she does a pretend thing where she throws a... And, you know, when you click your fingers and the bag moves, I think that's what she's up to. Part-time children entertainer.
I'm not sure she strikes me as someone who has tricks to entertain children.
She doesn't look very child-friendly.
No.
She looks kind of scary. However, she apparently has it in a paper bag, which I think is a rather flimsy receptacle, but
Me too. I'd go attaché case if it was mine.
Oh, would you?
Yeah, definitely.
I'd go Plazzy bag.
Plazzy.
Gareth?
Bag for life.
I think if I was Faye Dunaway, I would have a custom-made sort of scales holder.
Oh, like a vanity case in one of those Doris Day films.
Maybe I'd get something, like, cosmetically fitted into my body. If you had a couple of ribs taken out of the back, you could have sort of a fold-down scales.
A compartment for the scales.
Into the...
What I like is that they felt the need
fibre.
to point out in this story that she was weighing salad and fish. Oh, that's funny, because I thought she'd be having beef Wellington.
Yes, they said she asked for a bland meal, which I think, you know, is odd. But
Please, can I have a bland meal?
Maybe she loves seasoning. Can I have a bland meal and make sure you've got the salt and pepper ready, because that's what it needs.
Was she selling on the food? Was it like a market stall?
I don't know what happened with the spares.
Bland fish going. Who wants
What did she
half a
do?
gram of fish?
I did wonder what happened with the spares. What happens to Dunaways?
Oh, that would be good. That'd be a good one of those ITV daytime. Dunaways. Who could present that?
She's done away with it.
Nick Knowles, maybe?
Is it why they call her Dunaway?
Yeah, it's
Because she's done away.
What I like is that the
Done
agent's
weighing.
official comment, or her publicist, said, what may be considered eccentric is part of her charm.
Yes.
I don't think she gets to decide that, does she?
No, I'm 100% with her, because I mean, Gareth's already described some eccentric food behaviour, and
What do you mean?
I am often accused. I'm j'accused. Remember I told you that I pour anchovies into the leafy salad bag?
That's part of your charm, Al.
Well, that hit a new low last weekend when on the train home to Manchester on Sunday morning, I sneaked into the train toilet.
OK, I'm going to stop that anecdote right
Haven't finished. I'll tell you it. I ate a tin of sardines with my fingers and then washed my face and beard and went back to my seat.
Gareth? Can I just say, this is making your chicken wing story. This is looking like normal behaviour.
Is that eccentric? You all look disgusted, as indeed did my family when I got back and told them.
Can you text in and tell us what you think of Alan's behaviour? I'm just saying, it was sardines and there was a beard involved.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So Alan dropped a bombshell before the song.
Yes.
That he eats tin sardines in a train toilet.
Yes.
How do you think that's acceptable?
Well, I think he's
firstly, you know it's not acceptable because
It's not
you've gone and
acceptable
hidden your
to see.
shameful actions away in the most disgusting place in the world.
It is acceptable if you're if Pingu is your role model in life.
And he is.
Which I'm starting to think he must be.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about this now you've outed yourself?
I feel quite cheery about it, but I don't think other people are quite on board. I mean, there is definitely a stigma to eating oily fish on a train, so I wasn't going to do it at the seat.
You knew it was wrong.
I wasn't going to do it at the seat.
You didn't eat at the seat.
Slightly pedantic, but I knew that other people would find it...
right. You don't have any problem with it.
I don't know if I would like it if somebody did it in the seat opposite me.
Okay, Gareth, I'm sorry to interrupt your Frost Nixon style of questioning here over the sardines in the toilet, but can I ask a question? Are there any baby wipes or wet wipes involved?
Well, I used the sink in the toilet to wash my face and hands.
He's pumping with his foot, the pedal. You know, the sink pedal.
It wasn't a train from 30 years ago.
I mean, it does depend on the train because, like, there are various train toilets.
Yeah, and then I went back to...
train toilet?
Yeah, it was okay.
Some are disgusting.
Well, can I say,
true.
Alan, it was an okay train toilet until Alan got his hands on it. Thank you very much.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So we're talking about Faye Dunaway this morning on Absolute Radio, and the fact that she weighs her food in restaurants.
Whee! Sorry.
Oh, God.
I enjoyed it last time, so I'll do it again.
With scales?
Yeah. And you might be surprised to hear that I don't think that's that eccentric, because obviously I'm the weirdo that eats tin sardines in a train
men in
toilet.
glass houses.
Exactly.
As her publicist says, it's part of her charm.
I agree, and I do a very similar thing. I mean, you guys have not eaten out with me for a while, but I do a very similar thing to her, except rather than weigh the food, I take some full-sized proper scales and I weigh me before lunch.
Oh, that's good.
And then I break up halfway through lunch if I've hit my target, which is 85 kilograms. I'm currently weighing in at 78 now, so I've got to have a really massive lunch today. But that's my go-to is...
That's all right, I'm not paying.
85 kg.
Someone is.
It's going to be
That's
a
not
massive
me.
dinner.
I would say, though, Al, looking at her, she doesn't look very happy, Faye. Would you agree?
You think a person weighing salad before eating it might not be happy?
Well,
yeah,
I
think you're
suppose
right.
also, I think she's got to an age now where she doesn't have to do that anymore.
Oh, totally. Pull the ripcord.
Well,
Enjoy
once you
yourself.
get to your 70s, you can start buying your clothes from the back of the Sunday supplements.
Yeah, and you
I
should.
plan to do that.
Yeah, totally.
I might even buy some shit. You go to the I Have Given Up shop. It's fair enough.
Yeah, I think I've already been going. I think it's fine. I don't think she's absolutely right in that this is a way of controlling her size. She says it keeps her slender, but actually, you know, a more effective way of doing that would be to weigh the food before cooking it. But
Yes.
you know, portion control is a
Okay,
way.
so your problem is not that she's weighing her every food. She's not doing it accurately enough before.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all gone insane, haven't we, about food? That's the problem.
Do you think that's what it is?
My
Yeah.
mum has some strange restaurant traits. My mum occasionally asks waiters in cafes if the chips are real.
Does she?
Can I just ask, are these chips real? Are they real chips? And
What
they'll
does
look
she
at her
mean
like,
by that?
I've been stung before by imaginary food. If you don't ask
Yes,
before,
this is true.
sometimes there's a little eye by it, and that means that it is made up.
She also asks if soup is plasticky or not. Can you tell me,
she?
see this soup? Is it plasticky, that soup? I don't want the plasticky kind of soup.
I think these are good questions to ask.
They are
though.
good questions, but no one's ever going to answer yes, are they? Or no. Are
You
these
might
chips
come
real?
across
No.
some sort of honest John type
Yeah.
who might decide to tell you the truth.
I think that's quite
So she means,
eccentric
are they like?
restaurant.
So is it like frozen chips?
I think
Doesn't
so.
like frozen chips.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think she wants real chopped up potatoes that have been chipped
Yes.
and fried.
But that's fair enough. She wants
She'll
her
be
food
lucky.
to take
Fair
nice.
enough.
What I don't
Yeah,
understand
exactly.
about Faye Dunaway is this seems to be a sort of, you know, weight restriction reasons. And who are you dieting for? I don't mean that horribly.
Yeah.
But it's true. Come on.
The 75-year-old body fascist guy that's on the singles market. I'm sorry, I like you, but you're too chunky for me, darling.
Well, maybe.
Not happening, is it?
Who knows? Maybe there's a hot mortician or something. I don't know. Just saying.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had an email that I part of it is for Frank Skinner, who is in absentia today, but I would quite like to
Hi,
read
Frank,
it to
if
you.
you're listening.
because there's a side note at the end that I would really like to know what you think of, Emily.
Go on.
The email begins...
Oh, you don't care what I think?
No, there's a bit in it for you, Gareth.
So needy these days.
The email begins, "Wagwan peeps." I'll skip the obligatory night's move as I'm currently experiencing what can only be described as prolonged unintentional abstinence. Plus, I may not be Gareth's type, ... Interesting.
Okay.
You'd be
I just
surprised.
wanted to let Frank know.
Do you like eating chicken wings
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a cafe in a supermarket?
He continues, "I just wanted to let Frank know, seeing as he has a newfound love for charcoal scratchery, that I am in the process of reducing a large pile of timber to ash and art supplies.
Oh.
Uninteresting at first, yes, but on second glance, a cavalcade of savings are to be found, and thrift is as thrift does." I think it's our moral duty to pass this along to Frank, because he loves a saving.
And also, thrift is as thrift does is very your mum.
It is a bit, yes. Side note, here's the kicker, as they say. Side note, Emily's feelings on excessive man bracelets. Paul, much love.
I really have a problem with this. I mean, when you say excessive, I don't like any man bracelets.
Oh, really? I would be all right with one, I think.
It's either gap year or it's a bit Sloaney man, isn't it? It's a bit Prince Harry. I just don't like them. Oh, it'll make me feel sick thinking about it.
I feel like it's a shame that I brought this up on the last link. You could go for about an hour now.
I know, I just feel that I don't like jingly jangly. I just don't like that.
Jangle.
Yeah,
I don't
we've
like
got to be
jingly
careful of
jangly men.
Jangle now.
Although a helpful warning.
Well, what do you make of them?
I would avoid bracelets.
Okay. I don't even like... I'm even going zero tolerance on those copper back bracelets. Do people still wear those?
Oh, right.
You didn't have one.
When I got married, I got those for my best man.
You didn't. Why?
Because I was really poor.
Oh, Gareth. Don't turn it into an Angela's Ashes anecdote. You could have spent that money on hair
Angela's
gel.
Ashes, she can do a lovely sketch with those.
But you could have got something else. There was choice involved. I mean, they're quite expensive, those copper bracelets, aren't they?
No.
Why do people wear
Not
them? Is the
from
copper
Argos.
meant to make your
Is it for arthritis? It's pretty good for arthritis. I think I wore one for a while and it turned my wrist green, so I'm not
that's
sure
what they do.
that's...
That's what they do.
I just think they look a bit like a middle-aged man in a sauna. That's all I'm saying. Okay?
Yes.
Sounds yummy.
Sort of man.
Or if it's yellow plastic and a middle-aged man in a swimming pool when you're being told when your time is up.
All-inclusive holiday.
It's the sort of man that might eat chicken wings in a supermarket cafe
yum,
or
yum,
fish
yum.
in the toilet. Two fabulous things we've discovered about Alan and Gareth
Yeah,
this
that
morning.
is outrageous. And this is a man who's eaten a rotisserie chicken on a train.
Okay,
So-
on that bombshell, it was so lovely having you this morning. Thank you for having us. Frank will be back
Thank
next
you.
week. All I have to say is be seeing you.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.